Hey everyone, Happy New Year! My name is Layla and today I want to show you my top 10 winter budget designer fragrances that cost less than $50. When I say $50, I mean I buy them for less than $50, but not more than $50 online here in UAE on a local Amazon and different online websites. I have quite a big collection of winter fragrances. I didn't want to show them all in one big huge video, I would say, because it could take ages. That's why I decided to split them, and today I'll show you only the budget ones. And though these are very inexpensive fragrances, but believe me, they smell, to my nose at least, very expensive. And I would like to start with the first fragrance. It's a Arabic brand. It's called Lattafa, and the fragrance is called Raghba. It is, I think, the cheapest fragrance from today's list. It costs here on local Amazon around $10 or maybe even less. I bought it for $8 if I'm not mistaken. This is a very oriental type of fragrance. It's very sweet, sugary, woody, incensey type of fragrance. But despite of the price, it smells really, to me, and not only to me, probably you heard about this fragrance from other bloggers, it smells quite nice. And let's say I know this type of fragrances from other brands, higher designer brands, and they cost a lot. But this one, being a cheapy one, I think it's very nice. It's very sophisticated. It's not very generic. Because it's a bit incensey, a bit resinous. It gives this fragrance the expensive smelling type of fragrance vibe. So, as I said, here on a local Amazon, you can buy it for less than $10. And technically, it's very well done. It's very well blended, to my nose at least. And I think it has quite a good projection also. It has good technical characteristics. It means that it's long lasting, especially on your clothes. It can last for days. And it has good projection, as I said. It has good sillage. And this, I think, a very unisex type of fragrance. Let's say I use it together with my husband. And I would say he uses even more than me. He likes it a lot, and he's not a big fan of sweet fragrances. This one has sugar notes, as I said. It's quite sweet. At the same time, it's interesting. It's not generic for sure, and it can be easily pulled off by men as well. It's very, as I said, very unisex type of fragrance that lasts long, has a nice projection, more than arm length, and it has a nice sillage. So next fragrance, I think, is the only one that I bought offline, and I'm talking about this one. It's by Elizabeth Arden. It's Fifth Avenue Royale, and I'm not a big fan of the original one, of the Fifth Avenue, but I just love this one. And by the way, I already used 1/4 of this bottle. I'm not a fan of the bottle, by the way. You see it got broken already, the plastic one, the plastic part here, it got broken, but believe me, the juice inside, it's very good, of very good quality. And I think if it was in a different packaging and a different brand name, let's say some Tom Ford, or I don't know, even niche one, people would buy it, and people would pay much more than $80 that I paid for it offline. I bought it more than 1 year ago in local discounter for $18. It's a local discounter that brings goods from US with a big discount, and I saw it there. They didn't have any tester, so I decided to give it a try because it was so inexpensive. Like, as I said, it's $18. So I decided to try it, and I didn't regret at all, because as I said, the juice inside, it's much better than the packaging for sure. So this is about the raspberry, again, woody notes, some sweet alcohol notes. It is also oriental, but it's different from the first one in terms of the first one is really genuine Oriental. You know, you can smell this type of fragrances here in Middle East. This one is more European type of Oriental, French type of Oriental, I would say, very adapted to the European nose, to the Western nose. So even if you don't like oudi, woody or Oriental fragrances, you most probably you will like this one. It's very warm, very cozy, very versatile. You can, you know, wear it to the office at the same time, in the afternoon, in the evening, to the night out, to the date, everywhere. It's extremely, in my collection, it's one of the most versatile fragrances that I have. And technically it's very well done, very well blended. It's very round, polished, clean. It doesn't have any barnyard oud type of notes that I personally can't wear during the day, or even I will think twice before I wear this type of fragrance. But this one is really easy to wear, even if you have a dress code in your office or perfume code, because in spite of being a very long-lasting fragrance, it doesn't have long sillage or very loud projection. I would say it's probably arm length. People can hear it from, people can smell it from you, but at the same time, it's not very loud. It's very polite, I would say. And talking about versatility of this fragrance, I remember that last year during winter, I visited my mom back in my home country in Azerbaijan, in Baku, and winter there, you know, it's very different from the winter here in UAE. In UAE, our winter is, you know, the lowest that we can get here is 13 to 15 degrees Celsius. But there, back in Baku, it's a normal winter with a normal negative temperatures. And I was wearing this one when I visited my mom, and my aunt also came to see me, and we had a great time. But in the evening, she is performing in the orchestra, in the symphonic orchestra there in Baku. She's playing on violin, and she's supposed to have a concert and performance on that night. She put on her evening dress, evening gown for performance, the black one, long one, and she said, you know, I forgot my perfume, but when you came, I smelled such a nice perfume from you. What is that? Can I try it? Can I use it today for, you know, performing? I said, for sure, it was this one, and she was happy to, you know, put it on, and I think it suited that black, long evening dress. So this is about how versatile this fragrance is, and for being such a cheapy one, I think it's just a steal. So next one is also a hidden gem. Another one, it's from Juicy Couture, and it's called Majestic Woods. And look at this bottle. I think it's gorgeous. It's very beautiful. And believe me or not, this fragrance online is very cheap. It's like about $40 to $45 maximum dollars. But it smells and it looks at the same time very expensive. This is also, I would say, Oriental, but the same like the previous one. It's a very clean, a very European type of Oriental, very easy to wear type of Oriental, like the Oriental for those who don't like Orientals and who don't wear Orientals. So forget about everything you know about Juicy Couture's fragrances. Forget all those theme types of fragrances by Juicy Couture. This is completely different. This is completely opposite to what you know, because this is a grown-up Juicy Couture. This is, I think, the niche type of fragrance by Juicy Couture. It is quite unique, I would say, in terms of the whole concept of the brand. This is completely different. It stands out completely. And this one is also woody, a little bit sweet. It has the praline note, but it's not overly sweet. It's not like typical sweet, typical designer sweet like La Vie Belle or Black Opium or that type of fragrances. Not at all. This is a very subtle, very gentle type of sweetness that's very pleasant to my nose, because I'm not a big fan of very, very sweet, like, you know, sugary sweet and like sticky sweet of fragrances. This is not the one at all. So as I said, it's a grown-up, it's more serious type of fragrance. It's very woody. Again, the woody note is on a borderline with oudi notes, with the agar oud note, but it's like, as I said, on the borderline. This is like a oud without oud, like an oudi fragrance without oud inside, or I would say it's a oudi fragrance for those who don't like ouds. Very wearable also for everyday. I would say it's a bit louder than Fifth Avenue Royale by Elizabeth Arden. So, but I still can wear it during the day. It's also very versatile, but you need just, you know, to be careful with the dosage, like don't overspray. And I think it's very clean in terms of clean oud clean type of oud. It's not that animalistic type of oud. It has ambroxan, it has amber, lots of woods. So it's a real majestic wood, I would say. Very nice, very expensive smell. It's very well blended professionally with good materials. Like, to my nose, this is something that could cost twice, 3 times, or even 5 times more, and people would buy it. I think it's really a hidden gem. No one is talking about this fragrance, no one is showing it. It has a very good lasting power. It's a very long lasting fragrance. It's not screaming or shouting. It does have nice sillage, arm length projection. However, it's more noticeable, let's say, as I said, than the Fifth Avenue Royale. That's why maybe 1 to 2 sprays is more than enough. You can choke yourself if you overspray it, but you can't choke yourself even if you overspray the Fifth Avenue Royale. So it's more safe, I would say. This one, it's a bit more expensive, but I think it's also very nice. And the packaging, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. I think this can be a beautiful present for someone who likes Orientals. The next fragrance is by Calvin Klein, and this is the flanker of one of their famous fragrances, Euphoria. This is Euphoria Golden Amber. It has a very nice copper color bottle, and the fragrance itself, it's very unique, very unique. I have a similar fragrance from a very rare niche brand called Agonist. It's a Sweden brand, and this fragrance is called Isis, and this fragrance costs maybe 3-4 times more than this one. I bought this one for $25. So I would say these fragrances they have similarities for sure. They are not clones, of course, but they have similarities, and that fragrance is very unique, and this one also. But that fragrance, it has the same notes, the same vibes in if, let's say, the same book was translated to Sweden language or to the Arabic language, because this one is quite warm and hot and desert type of fragrance. It's very adequate to the climate that I live in, though this fragrance would be very adequate to the Sweden climate. It has inside this fresh, spiky Sweden air, a cold one, but at the same time this is also the sweet fragrance. But this one, it has a little bit of spikiness, but more than that, it has lots of amber notes. That's why it's very warm. It's I would call it some sort of Oriental, but not typical Oriental for sure. It has a lot of vanilla and tonka beans. It has honey, but at the same time, again, this is not a typical fragrance that you can smell. You know, if you go to the shop to smell whatever is now on the shelves, it stands out for sure from other fragrances. And this is what I like about it, because it's so unique, so unusual, and the sweetness that it has, it's very different. It's a niche type of sweetness. It's a niche. This fragrance for sure has a niche quality to it, and the uniqueness is so obvious in that. I don't know if you can find it. I think it was before, it was exclusively done for this region, for Emirates, for UAE, or for Middle East. I'm not sure if you can find it. Probably you can if you search. But this one, I think it's gorgeous. It's amazing. It's something that I would say could cost, as I said, 3, 4, 5 times more, because it's very beautiful. The sweetness here is the vanilla here is the vanilla of the yellow old pages of the book. You know, when you open the old book and you see that the pages are already yellow and the edges started to scatter, but it's different from the normal vanilla smell. So this one has this sort of vanilla and very nice tonka, and the honey smell, which is very nicely combined with the amber. This amber and honey, I would say, can play the main role in this fragrance. So very nice, very long lasting, projecting, but I wouldn't say the projection is very big. I would say the arm length, but it's enough. For me, it's more than enough. At least I can smell it for myself during the half of the day, for sure, for 6 hours. At least I can smell it for myself. But again, in terms of uniqueness, this one is just gorgeous. And for the price that is sold, I think this is also a very good deal. The next fragrance is also from Calvin Klein, and this is Reveal. The bottle is like this. It's a square bottle, quite nice, I think. And this one, to me, is also a beautiful winter fragrance, also quite unique. It's something in between to Mugler's Humanity and Paco Rabanne's Olympia. I think it's something in between. It's very wearable to my nose, because some people find it quite challenging to wear the Humanity by Mugler, but I think this one is really easy to understand and really easy to wear. It does remind me about summer because it's salty, it has lots of woody notes. It's like you're on the beach with a lot of woods on the shore. However, it has some sweetness that gives a lot of warmth to this fragrance, and also it has a cashmere note, which also gives you extra warmth. And since I bought this fragrance on winter, I perceive it as a winter fragrance, and I love it as a winter fragrance. It's very comforting, very cozy, airy at the same time. It's not heavy at all, and in spite of being sweet, it's very airy. It's not heavy at all. And I know many people who wear this during summer as well, and it gives the beach vibes. But since it is so cozy and warm and comforting, I like to wear this during the winter. The next fragrance that I would like to talk about is the Jimmy Choo by Jimmy Choo. This is Eau de Parfum, and this is my third bottle, I would say. I love this fragrance. I used already 2 smaller ones, and to me this is a very easy to wear, sweet patchouli, pear, caramel type of fragrance. It's a very modern and young fragrance because the patchouli here is very airy, fresh, spiky, probably very gingery type of patchouli and modernized patchouli, and that's why this fragrance gives me a very young vibes, young woman vibes. I can wear it easily during summer. I know some people will be very surprised because this is normally like a cold weather type of fragrance, but because of the type of patchouli is here so airy and fresh, I can easily wear it during the summer, during the hot weather. It gives me some unique vibes of, you know, the freshly printed, glossy, glamorous fashion magazine that you just took out from the stand, and it has the smell, this very specific smell. So I think this fragrance has that smell. It gives it the spine. I think this smell gives the spine and core and charisma and character to this fragrance. Very likable, very easy to wear, and it's a compliment getter, a crowd pleaser. People like it, especially men. My husband likes this fragrance on me. He always notices it. Though I have a huge collection and like very expensive niche masterpieces, he doesn't notice them. He notices this one. When I spray it, it spreads everywhere, and even if I spray it on the first floor, on the ground floor, people can still smell it. So it has a nice projection, sillage, and longevity, I would say, is more, it's above average. I would say on the clothes it stays for the whole day and probably even longer. So it's a nice one. And by the way, I bought it in a set with a body lotion, and together with the body lotion prolongs the longevity of the fragrance, so it's very good to use it together. The next one is another hidden gem and my recent discovery, and I loved it, just fell in love. It's by Agent Provocateur, and it's called Lace Noir. A very beautiful fragrance made by Christian Provenzano, who has, by the way, his own line, his own brand, and he made lots of fragrances for Agent Provocateur, and this one is very beautiful, resinous, ambery. It has some tonka bean, vanilla, very beautiful fragrance with the, white flowers, with the tuberose, with the rose. Amazingly beautiful fragrance. It has also patchouli. It doesn't have musk, which is very important to me because the other fragrances that I have, they are very musky, noticeable musky fragrances. This one doesn't have any musk, but at the same time, even without musk, it's very sexy, extremely sexy to me. But this is not a very generic type of seduction, though it's called Lace Noir. It really reminds me of some velvet, of open evening gown, the dark gown. The juice itself is very gooey, very thick, ambery, very beautifully done, not overly sweet, not gourmand type of sweet. It's a different type of sweetness, but it's very seductive sweetness. It has tonka beans, it has vanilla, but at the same time it's not eat me seduction. It's a very intelligent seduction. It's not a seduction by overexposing of skin and body. It's definitely sexy, it's definitely attractive, but at the same time it's a very smart and intelligent type of seduction. It reminds me as a, let's say, if I try to associate this fragrance with someone, with some character, it reminds me Irene Adler from series, Sherlock Holmes series. I'm talking about the last one with the Benedict Cumberbatch, the English one, the British one. I love this series and I love Irene Adler there. She's very beautiful, very attractive, very seductive and sexy, but at the same time so smart, so intelligent. So this is the same. The fragrance reminds me of her, and this is a beautiful, very beautiful winter evening fragrance, and the base of this fragrance is to die for. I love the base of this fragrance. The longevity is eternal. This fragrance on my skin and my clothes, it lasts until I wash my clothes. Let's say like days and days, I can still smell it. And not like the next day, let's say if I smell from my clothes, it's not like it's only the remaining of the fragrance that I sprayed yesterday. No, I still, it's still noticeable. I can smell it from a distance. Very beautifully done, very round, very polished. It's like, you know, the same like this golden bottle. Excellent, very good quality, and it definitely smells much more expensive than it costs, to my nose at least. Like, I fell in love with this fragrance, and I used it like for the days and days. I couldn't take my hands from it. It was so beautiful. I love it. The next one is also the fragrance that I used 1/3 already, but it's very intensive and very concentrated one. This is L'Extase Rose Absolue by Ricci. It looks like this, and I think this is another budget hidden gem that you need to try in case if you like roses. And this is also a very seductive fragrance to my nose, very sexy one. And this is also a very seductive and sexy fragrance to my nose. And also it has charisma, it has character, because the rose here, it's dark, velvety, dark red. It's smoky, it's resinous, it's sweet, jammy rose. And it's Taif rose. It's not a typical rose, it's a Taif rose. It's a bit different from the normal rose, let's say Bulgarian or Turkish. So I love this fragrance. It's like in a rose jam, someone added some raisins and labdanum probably, and some incense. So it's dark, it's smoky, but not overly smoky. It doesn't make the smoke that it has here, it doesn't make it masculine. It makes it mystical, mysterious, attractive, sexy, I would say. And again, it reminds me of the woman who wears an, you know, black open gown, evening gown, because this one also gives me the evening vibes. And it does smell much more expensive than it costs, because you can buy it for, I think, around $40 to $45 online. And this fragrance is very similar to Oud Satin Mood by Francis Kurkdjian, because this one is also done and created by Francis Kurkdjian. It has the same perfumer. So highly recommended. The lasting power is eternal on me, at least. It's very noticeable, it has good projection, I would say even longer than arm length, and it lasts, as I said, it lasts ages, especially on the clothes and especially on your hair. The CR is also very nice, I would say. Beautiful, beautiful evening fragrance. And I think the last but not least today is a fragrance by Roberto Cavalli, and this is Nero Assoluto. I like the bottle, by the way. This one is made of metal. This is not plastic. And this is a very beautiful, fruity, woody vanilla, I would say. The top notes are orchid, and you can smell orchid straight away when you spray it. It's like the orchid, sweet orchid mixed with a bit sour fruits together. It's like an abstract fruit accord and a sweet vanillish orchid together. But when the first notes disappear, you can feel lots of woody notes, but it's not masculine wood, it's very feminine wood with the ebony wood. It's a nicely done, very well blended fragrance, I would say. The only negative part is the longevity. Longevity, I would say average or maybe below average. It doesn't last long, which makes this fragrance very good to wear during the day, though it's called Nero Assoluto, but I easily wear it during the day, even at home. It's quite feminine, at the same time sweet and cozy, but not overly sweet. I would say the sweetness here is more flower sweetness, not the gourmand type of sweetness, not the eat me type of sweetness. But definitely this one also smells very expensive to me, and much more expensive than it costs, because you can buy it also around $30 to $35 online here. So nice one, very nice one. And I guess that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching me, and I invite you to subscribe in case if you didn't subscribe, because next time I plan to talk about my other designer fragrances for winter. I have, as I said, quite a big collection, and the next video will be about the rest of my designer fragrances. I hope it will be interesting, and that's why if you don't want to miss the next video, don't forget to press the notification bell. I also invite you to visit my Instagram page here. It also has some interesting bottles, the fragrances that I buy, that I newly buy, and I post them there before I show them in the video. So if you are curious and interested, I invite you to subscribe to my Instagram as well. So thank you so much for watching me, and I see you in my next video. Bye everyone.